Hi, my name is Beverly Basie Jones,
I'm Stephen Jones.
and we are missionaries with Mesa Global out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and we serve in Oaxaca, Mexico. And we do a number of different things, but we are related with Jobs for Life through a program that we do. We have a twofold program. One is an outreach to women involved in situations of prostitution, where we meet the women, we develop relationships with them, we counsel with them, and hopefully so that they can begin to know the Lord in some way. And then we, on the other side of that, is the programming that we do. We hire certain vulnerable women, not all of whom have come off the street, but sometimes there are women who are either off the street or they're very vulnerable. They are desperate for money and they might easily go into a life of prostitution, and our goal is to keep them out of that. So in that program, the women learn how to make jewelry, and I don't know if you can see any of this, or they learn how to professionally do jewelry, and we sell that jewelry here in the United States in various places. And they have a Bible study every day that they do as they learn what the Bible is. For many of these girls, they've never opened a Bible. They don't know anything about Jesus as a faith, and we see a lot of hunger in some of these girls, a real interest in learning. And then Jobs for Life does programming. So 4 days a week, the girls work making jewelry. 1 day a week, they do programming. We have a partner who does life skills. So they might learn how to cook nutritious food. They learn financial management. What is a budget? They might learn things like how to cut hair or simple things they could do in the house. And then we do Jobs for Life. Obviously, it's in a Spanish context. So we have taken the Jobs for Life curriculum and we have used that and we change it to adapt to the culture. There are sometimes stories in there that don't work really well for our girls. They don't really understand like a smartphone sometimes. They just have a very basic cell phone. So we might change that story. We use some of the things from Powered for Life. There's a few really poignant stories in there that we use. And we basically walk the girls through their job because they have a job. They're not necessarily seeking employment right now, but their job during the Jobs for Life is to come up with an idea of what they would like to do with their dream job. And then we help them research, what do you need? And we help them walk through that process. And they present that in an oral presentation at the end of class, which is a huge thing for these girls. We start very, very slow. We start with stand up, introduce yourself, and tell us where you're from. And then we work them through until they can actually do a full presentation. And they tell us that maybe they want to open a bakery. And they tell us, well, this is how much it costs, because I looked up the price of all these things that I need, and how much does it cost for rent. And they come up with a plan, and they explain how they're going to do that plan. And then we follow through with them if we can afterwards to help them. We had one girl, for example, who did not have a correct birth certificate. So she had to start there to get her documentation. So we loaned her some money and we said, when you pay this back, if you need another loan, you can get another loan. But she used that money to pay a lawyer basically to help her through. And it took like 6 or 9 months for her to get her birth certificate corrected. But we start them because until she had that, she couldn't do anything else. And we walk with them as they do these things. So that's basically what we do in the program. And every year we have one girl that is just inspiring to us. This last year we had a girl who came in with her sister who had a 3-year-old son who could not walk and could not talk when he arrived. And we have daycare on the site basically for the girls. And we realized that we had to do something. So as part of a holistic ministry, we have to sometimes deal with situations. They get sick, they need a doctor, a dentist, or whatever, and we work with them. So we began to take this little boy to various doctors to try to figure out what's going on. And we got to the right specialist, and we worked with Mom, our student in the class, to say, it's your responsibility to take care of him and to take him to these doctor's appointments. We'll help you financially if you need it, but you need to do this. And we have seen tremendous growth in her. She's very interested in the Bible. She's very interested in learning new things. She's begun attending church. And this is for her coming from a very dysfunctional family, and a family where we believe that there's some demonic work going on within that family. She has made incredible progress. So her son is now in a government-sponsored therapy program. He goes to therapy, occupational therapy. He's learning to walk. He will be learning to talk. And we're excited to see where he goes in his life. And we know that getting them into this program is the key to what has happened, where they have been able to get introduced to Jesus, to see a different lifestyle, that to watch all of us. I mean, we've even had to explain to them sometimes, we're volunteers. We do this because we love Jesus. And they're like, oh. They really just assumed that we were paid and that we got all this money from the jewelry sales. And the jewelry sales that we do actually pays for the products that we use in the jewelry and for their pay. But all the programming is donated. It's supplied by, and then all of us are missionaries that, or we work 2 jobs or whatever. But that's kind of the way that we have designed our program and what we do. And
So tell us, Beverly and Stephen, where are you guys right now in regards to the ministry? It's going on in Oaxaca and with you guys personally.
Yeah. So we had a pretty rough year last year. I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and Stephen had a knee replacement, so we had a couple of surgeries. My mom is not doing well. And so God has allowed us, and our agency has allowed us to take a 1-year home mission assignment, primarily to focus on my mom and her care, and seeing what we can do to help keep her in her home as long as we can. So we're still very much connected to the ministry. We know what's going on at all times, and I'm still doing the books remotely because it's one of the things you can do from your computer anywhere in the world. But that's what our focus is right now. We're going to be in the States for about a year, and we're looking forward to connecting with new supporters or people who might have an outlet to sell our jewelry. We sell it through various, normally Christian businesses, that whether they just put up a display and they sell it, or their whole focus might be in supporting missions. There's several of those type of businesses, and so that's kind of what we're going to do for this next year.
And so while you guys are here, I know that you left someone there in Oaxaca, and what's going to be going on there while you were
As far as
where?
for Jobs for Life,
In the ministry, yeah.
my co-teacher is Jasmine Gallardo, and she is going to be in charge, which I think scares her to death. But we've done this now for 3 years. We've done a class, and traditionally what happened is I would prepare the lessons. And one of the things that we do a little bit differently to not overwhelm our girls is that we create a notebook, and they get to design and color the front of the notebook. And then we give them their lessons 1 week at a time, so that they don't go look at this book and go, I can't do this, I can't do this. So she now has everything's ready for her, and she knows she has to create the books. And so she's stepping up in a way into my position, and she will of course lead the classes. And then our pastor's wife has said that she would be willing to come in and co-teach with Jasmine. And so if we have a class, it always depends on the girls that come into our program whether or not we will have a class. And sometimes they start at all kinds of different times of the year. But when we have girls who are new to the program, then it's part of the requirement for the job that they go through our training program.
So how can we pray for you? How can our Jobs for Life family pray for you?
I think pray for us as we go into the situation of helping my mom, and I am an only child, so it's a pretty big responsibility, and that's a big thing. And just continue to pray for the women that we work with that might choose to leave a life of prostitution. That's a huge step, that we can be there, that we can support them in that process. And 2, that the women that are in our program would just continue to come to know God and begin to explore that relationship, because it takes a long time. This is a very new concept for these girls. So just continue to pray that each one of them would just grow closer and closer to God as they walk this path of finding a new career, finding new ways of thinking about things. I think those are a couple of big prayer requests.
Thank you guys so much. We so appreciate you that God just made this opportunity to see you before you guys go to Ohio. We'll continue to pray for your work. I thank Monica Hayes, the Executive Director of here in Granbury, for hosting us, and we will continue to pray for you. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.